Okay, what's up? So your final presentation, which is due in a week, it's a PowerPoint. So PowerPoint different than a paper. So let me show you just an example. This is completely different, but I just want to show you that PowerPoints aren't huge paragraphs, right? So there's one slide. Here's another slide. You see, they're more like bullet points. Like bullet points are totally fine. You see, but I haven't like crowded the PowerPoint, the presentation with like massive paragraphs worth of information, right? So it's more like, there's some pictures. It's so I just want you to get the point, right? It's not a it's not a paper, right? So you're not putting a whole lot of information. You're just hitting on the main points. So that's how a PowerPoint's different. Let me go to the instructions. So first of all, student view. You go over to assignments. Scroll down to, or scroll up to final project. Um, You know what? It's saying due October 9th at the end of the day. That's a Friday. But honestly, if I don't have to have grades in until Monday, that will really give you until Sunday night, which will be the 11th. So final project is a brief presentation on an issue of biological importance. So anything having to do with biology. So that's really vague, right? And I'll give you some examples. It must be one with an ethical component. So ideally, it's like a ethical or social aspect to it, something that's debatable. For example, like abortion, that's like a really easy one, right? That has to do with biology because it's talking about something that's living, and um, it's ethical. I mean, that's totally people going back and forth about it. Um, then give you another example. Medical marijuana, euthanasia. Yeah, I don't know. Just anything. I'm kind of going towards medical things, but it doesn't have to be medical. It could be like environmental. Um, you know, so just think of some ideas. Ideally, so you want it to be biological, so, loosely biology, right? Um, and it has to be something like ethical or social, maybe something that is people are going back and forth about, something that's debatable. So, and then I'm writing here that you have to discuss 3 research articles concerning your topic. Now I'm going to get into that because not all 3 have to have a method section. That's because we're not on campus and we can't use the databases. So look at the bullet points I put here. Ideally, around 8 to 10 slides. Around. If you're going to put more, if you're going to try to pull it off in 6 or 7, that's fine. 3. I'm saying here 3 studies. Look at the 3rd bullet point. You must include discussion of 3 studies published in peer-reviewed journal. I'm thinking right now 1 or 2 will be sufficient because it's a little bit harder for you guys to find them from home, but I'm going to show you how. You do not have to submit a paper copy of your presentation. I'm going to erase that one. So when you see it, by the time you see this, it's not going to have that 6th bullet point. And then right here is, so this is an oral presentation. I'm not making you do the oral presentation part because we're not meeting in class. So, how complete is it? Did you talk about other studies, or is it just you saying, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my aunt smokes weed and I always told her she's wrong for that, but sometimes I smoke it too. No. I mean, make it more substantive than that. Um, and then ethical, social, or cultural component. So you can't make it on just anything. Um, you know, diabetes. What is diabetes? Who gets diabetes? Okay, but Where's the where's the dilemma in there? Um, so let me show you how to. So here's ideally what you would do. Um, you're going to take your PowerPoint, and how I would approach it is I would start with questions. You just like you would approach any paper: who, what, where, when, how, why. And so you pick a topic. So I've got CBD up here. So what are um, what's CBD, or what's medical marijuana? What does it do? Who would use it? So what that's like what, who, where, where can you take it? What are some delivery routes? Or how, I guess that would be a how too. Where, what states can you legally have it in? See, there's the dilemma. What states can you have it in? Some states say no, like Louisiana, believe it or not. Some states say no, some states say yes. Why? Right. So first of all, answer all the questions: who, what, when, where, how, when, how, why, whichever ones you want to answer. That's going to take up 2 or 3 slides. So you're going by bullet points. Then do one of your studies. So you're going to find a study and say, okay, these people looked at medical marijuana in seizure patients and they found that this happened. So what would you put in that slide? I would put 2 bullet points. First bullet point, what did they look at? Second bullet point, what did they find out? That's it. Again, you don't have to put a whole bunch of stuff in here, right? It's just a quick summation. Do that with one study. Now you're on slide 4 or 5. Do that with another study. Your second study, you're on like slide 5 or 6. Maybe talk about some kind of association that deals with medical marijuana. That would be slide like 7. And then your concluding slide would be like 8. So I would approach it like that. So let me show you an example of a study, and let me show you how I found it. So the library, that's not going to happen unless you're on campus. If you're on campus and you're in the library, ask them how to go to the databases, EBSCOhost. They'll be happy to show you. What we're using is the future of research, which will be something like Google Scholar. So I just type in Google, and then I just put in Scholar, and then right here. So scholar.google.com. This is the new way. There's, databases, they're on their way out. This idea that only universities or colleges have access to research. And so I typed in here, I typed in that, and then I got a bunch of studies, right? So here's one study, and here's what I'm looking for. These studies follow an outline, right? So first of all, you're gonna have to look through a few of these until you get one that looks like something you can understand. For example, if we look in this effect of cannabidiol, whatever it's called, on drop seizures in whatever Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, I have no idea what that is, right? But I'm just using this to show you the layout, right? So it starts with an abstract. An abstract is like a fast way to read the paper. It's like a summation of the whole paper, but it's done just in a few paragraphs. So right here, you're looking at right there, background, methods, results, conclusions. That's the whole paper. They've summarized it Because see, look, here's the paper, right? A lot longer. I'm not expecting you to read through all this crap, right? Forget all the numbers. Um, so a shorter ways to do it is to just read the abstract, which is at the beginning. But there's a shorter way to do these things. What I do is I go to the actual paper. So here's the beginning of the paper. You see this section that says methods. So it'll be called material and methods, subject and methods, methods. It's got the word methods in it. Go right before the sentence before that word methods. And that's going to tell you, see right here, I'm highlighting it. We performed a whatever it is, right? So that's what the study looks at. Don't cut and paste it, but put it in your own words. This one looks a little difficult, right? So if you find it's difficult, you're going to have to go to another article. But that's the shortcut. That's like the big shortcut. That's what the study looked at. Now I want to know, what were the results? I don't want to read all this crap. Just give it to me. Give me the results. Okay, keep going through. Past methods. You're going to see a section called results. Pass the results. That's not where the results are. Pass it up. Go to the next one, which is going to be called discussion or conclusion, usually discussion. There we go. Within the first couple sentences of the discussion, that's your answer. That's what the study found out. So right here, bam, first sentence. There's your answer. So all you got to do, turn that sentence into your own words. That's your other bullet point. So you make one bullet point from that. You make one bullet point from the part right before methods, the last sentence of the introduction. One bullet point from that. That's it. That's one of your slides. Right? So that shows that you're able to go, see, this is considered peer-reviewed research. And I mean, I didn't really get to go into it in class, but because we didn't meet, but this is how, this is how we know what treatments are going to maybe work with COVID-19 and why antibiotics don't work, or why some kind of tonic doesn't work, why, people just say crap, right? And you can't just believe everything. How do we know what to believe and what not to believe? Well, things that we believe have gone through this process. And it's really about this section right here, the methods section, because this methods section explains exactly how they did this study. So I can take this methods section and I can copy this study and I could do it myself. So if this dude's lying, I'm going to get different results, right? So you want to make sure that it has a methods section. I'm going to give you an example of a paper that does not have one. So let's look at this first one here. It's not following the layout. Yeah, you're going to find this too. You're not going to be able to open a lot of them. So we're going to have to move on to the next one. Oh, now I'm looking at this one, right? I've already flipped my mind off. I'm like, no, don't want to open that. Let's go to the next one. So it's kind of like a process, right? So can't open that one either. So this is what you're going to go through because we're using Google Scholar. Here, let me click that one. Okay, so here's one that's not a study. Oh, it is a study. Look at that, because they have a methods section. It's usually the opposite. I can't find the studies. Here we go. This one. All right. I can't find it. Point is, it does not have a method section. It doesn't count as a study. I want you to have at least one actual study. And you'll know it's a study because it has a method section. But again, what are you going to care about? you're going to look at the end of the introduction, the part right before methods, and you're going to look at the first sentence of the discussion section. That's your 2 sentences you're looking at. Put those 2 sentences in your own words, make a slide with it. So again, if you have any questions, we could, this is my class. We can meet in the virtual class. I can also meet you on campus. I'm on campus, definitely Mondays and Wednesdays, and then often other days as well. So we can meet on campus. We could meet on Google Meets, however you want to do it, or you could just email me questions. So this one, let's say, unless I hear differently about when grades are due, let's go with the 11th, right? So I'm going to make some changes here. So we'll go all the way till October 11th. That'll be the Sunday night. So next Sunday night. So what you could do for this weekend, come up with a topic. If you have a topic by the end of the weekend, then you're in good shape. So, all right. Y'all let me know if you have any questions.